Today we are going to explore about a crucial parenting shift from scolding to effectively disciplining your child. Let's take a scenario in a real-time life. If your child is throwing toys or shouting on top of your voice at home, what do you naturally do? Actually, we naturally tend to shout or scold the child. So here, I'm trying to ask you a question. Are you handling your child with just scolding and shouting at them, or are you trying to constructively teach the child something? Comment below, what are you doing? Myself Rohini, your natural frequency parenting coach. In this video, we are going to discuss about how to shift from the scolding to effectively disciplining your child. Whenever your child who is below 6 years old and they are trying to show a tantrumatic behavior to throw their toys or shout on top of their voice, they are out of their control. And when they are out of the control, the parents are trying to lose the control over themselves and trying to shout on the child to stop doing that. How can an out of control adult can try to control a child who is also out of control? Can you see the contradiction that both of you are out of control, and how can you actually help the child stop doing that? Here is where we need to try a balanced approach. Here, we need to first understand the child's behavior. Whenever a child is throwing a tantrum, we must stop a moment and pause and start thinking about why the child is behaving like this without losing the control. It is very difficult at that point of time because the child may be throwing toys for a long time period and you may not be able to actually undergo that pressure. But if you're not able to control yourself during that time period, you can definitely not control the child on a long term. So what you have to first do is understand the child behavior. Whenever the child is throwing something or trying to beat someone or throwing a tantrumatic behavior, they are trying to do these three things. Number one, they try to explore. Sometimes they are exploring aggressively. Number two, they are trying to seek attention. You and your family members are not giving a proper attention to the child. So what they try to do is they try to seek attention by this aggressive behavior. Number three, they are trying to communicate with you a certain important message which you're not understanding. I always tell the parents that whenever a child is misbehaving, that means always there is a communication issue. Try to find out whether you're spending enough time with the child. Or if you're spending time with the child, are you regularly controlling them or correcting them during that time period, or are you allowing them to freely move around? So this is the first point. Whenever you're trying to actually help your child when they're behaving in a very strong tantrumatic way, you have to first start understanding your child. Whether they are seeking attention, whether they are exploring aggressively, or whether they are trying to communicate something. The key term which you should keep in mind is children are always energetic and we need to channelize this energy constructively. The second thing is the child's bad behavior or misbehavior or any behavior is a form of communication. From there, we need to start handling them. Now, how to handle your child effectively, we are going to discuss at the end of this video. Don't forget to watch till the end. So before handling them effectively, I want to give you some of the causes or impact of scolding or yelling your child and what happens to them internally. When a parent regularly tries to control the child in the form of scolding or yelling, or throughout the day they are trying to control somehow or the other through a verbal abuse or a physical abuse, we are trying to give them a lot of stress. And the stress in different child comes in a different ways. For some child, it puts them into anxiety and sleeplessness. For some children, it affects their communication skills, so they stop expressing to you or they stop expressing to the other members outside. Third thing, it causes a low self-esteem within themselves and they start feeling over a period of time, I am not good enough. So as a parent, you need to understand that scolding or yelling continuously puts your child into a lot of emotional distress. Not only that, for certain children, it causes an opposite effect where they start to behave even more aggressively or they start to show a lot of angriness unknowingly throughout the day. For every children, this scolding may cause different responses from them. Not only this, now I'm going to also tell you about a research by two popular scientists on behaving very harshly with the child, what it results in. First of all, whenever the parents try to control the children, they try to use these tools by installing fear in them or trying to stop their emotions at that moment. And third, they are making the child even more feel dumb or making the child feel disrespectful at that point of time. So when you're trying to use such dialogues like, stop throwing the toys now, stop crying now, so immediately putting a full stop to an emotions which the child cannot do. So you are actually trying to suppress their emotion. On the other hand, you are trying to install a lot of fear because you're on the dominant side and the child is on the submissive side. So again, you're trying to boast yourself, I am more than you, making them feel lower than themselves. So from the research, it is told that discipline means not trying to be harsh on the child. Rather, you have to be constructive and consistent in the process. For example, whenever your child is actually throwing a tantrum or throwing a toys, always a parent's responses have to be little more calm, little more patience. When I say these words itself, I am just smiling because it is very, very difficult to be calm at that point of time. But as a parent, you need to make sure that you are not out of control to control your child. You need to be in control to bring the child come back to their own control. So this important point a parent have to really understand. So it's not about being controlling the child out of harshness. It's about being consistently and constructively helping the child to move forward. So let's come to the point how we can constructively help the child. Now, how to find a balance in discipline. Now, let's see the 3 steps on how to find a balance in discipline. Connect, correct, and redirect. What is connect? Whenever your child is trying to throw a tantrum and out of their control, just go sit next to them, pat them, say them, I know you're really upset. So first thing what you're doing is you're connecting with the child. Second thing, correct. Once they come back to a position where they stop doing that, after that tell them, I know it was upsetting, why it was, shall I help you? How can I help you in that way? Don't throw the toys, instead you can talk to me, so that you are trying to correct the child without putting harshness into place. Third one is redirect. Once you connect and correct them, third one, you can redirect them to another activity wherein which they don't stay in the same stressful zone. They come out and go to another activity zone. So, but when you are redirecting them, you have to use so much soothing activities like playing with the water, playing with the sand, playing with the water paints, or going out and playing in a park will actually calm down and release all of their stress. But instead, many of the parents, whenever child throws a tantrum, they give chocolates, they give chips, or they give their favorite foods, or they try to give mobile or TV, play a favorite song on the mobile. Don't do that. Instead, you have to give activities which will actively release their stress. But these mobile or TV based activities is actually going to cause them more stress in a long term. Because after a while, they'll start learning, when I throw tantrum, mama will give me mobile or TV. No. When I throw a tantrum, mama will soothe and help me to release my stress. This is what a parent is supposed to do rather than trying to actually giving them mobile and TV. Though it works, it should not be done on a long term. Next time when your child is throwing a toy or throwing a tantrum, the first thing you have to do is pause, connect, correct, and redirect. This should be in your mind so that you help your child discipline themselves in a constructive way. Remember, discipline is not about being harsh. Discipline is about teaching them how to help themselves on a long term. Like this, more videos are upcoming for you to handle your parenting challenges. Myself, Rohini, your natural frequency parenting coach.